we have our locks coming up here. Now, I just want to say this. All right. What was your record last week? So we do three locks, and then we pick the Eagles game.
So including the Eagles game, which you and I both picked correctly.
Correct.
I was 3-1.
Nice.
You got some rough luck. I think you got hit with a hook in the Bills game.
But it was also a kickoff return for a touchdown. That screwed me.
You got some bad luck. So a 1-3 week for you.
So technically I was 1-3. Really, I was better than 1-3. I mean, I like in my head, I'm gonna. Yeah, in my head, I wasn't 1-3, but like as far as how it paid out, I was 1-3. So whatever. I'm trying to pull these up right now. All right, so we're not going to give the Eagles game yet. All right, so I didn't give you the Eagles game yet. So we'll do that on Monday. But let's start out with the Cowboys. Cowboys last week. I don't know why I didn't pick the game. But this happened with a lot of these games where I was like, why didn't I pick that one? Why didn't I pick that one? The Cowboys were very impressive last week. And the Saints in victory against a terrible Carolina team, they got their win. So in week 2, it's kind of a sense of urgency for a lot of teams. Both teams won, so you're not desperate to not go 0-2. But the Cowboys are clearly the better team. The Cowboys were rolling last week against a pretty good Cleveland Browns team. I expect them to do the same on Sunday. Let's go with the Cowboys -6 over the New Orleans Saints. So the Ravens lost. Very easily could have won that game. The Raiders stink. They lost as well. So you have 2 0-1 teams that are going. The Ravens are a Super Bowl contender. The Raiders are not. Ravens are 8.5-point favorites at home. Lamar Jackson doesn't have a great winning percentage as far as covers as favorites. I don't care in this one. The Raiders aren't good. The Ravens are good. And I think they respond to a loss like that and to Lamar not playing well. I think they respond with a blowout win. So I'm going to take Baltimore Ravens -8.5 over the Las Vegas Raiders. And my last one here. All right, so the Jets. Again, this is one of these, how do you respond to a loss? The Jets got blown out by San Francisco. That game was not competitive. Aaron Rodgers wasn't even playing in the fourth quarter. They pulled him. One of their touchdowns came from Tyrod Taylor. All right. Tennessee, how's Will Levis as an NFL quarterback there, Tyler?
Not good.
He stinks. Pretty good Jets defense. Aaron Rodgers is fine. The Jets are going to blow the Titans out. Take the New York Jets on the road -4 over the Tennessee Titans. That's a 3-0 week. And if I don't go 3-0 out of those 3 games, Tyler Zuli's going to give you money. Or maybe not.
I'm giving money?
Well,
I don't have
that's
any
what the Carnival Barkers all used to say. I was just like, 5-0 or the rest of the season's free.
Yeah, I don't know how they make any money off those shows, to be honest with you. But
because
I don't have any
because
money.
you get idiots that call and pay, even if they call and pay and pay for it. But a lot of times the Carnival Barkers, they give different games, different results of games in other markets. So they're not actually making the same picks everywhere.
So they're hedging their own bets against themselves.
Correct.
It's actually not a bad model. I mean, it seems like a ripoff, but
you don't hear a lot of the Carnival Barkers anymore.
No, it's probably for the best.
It is for the best, yeah.
Yeah, they were some rough shows. All right, so we flashed your picks across the screen. Here are my 3. I am going to go with 2 teams that looked like garbage to continue to look like garbage, and one game that I just think could end up being a really good game. I'm going to start in Carolina with the Panthers and the LA Chargers. Now, Harbaugh seemed to implement his Harbaugh football style pretty much right away. The Chargers scheme is pretty simplistic. They want to run the ball. They run the ball efficiently. J.K. Dobbins looked really, really sharp in the first game, which is a little bit surprising to me, coming off of multiple injuries and a team that wasn't quite sure who was going to be their starting running back. They let Austin Eckler go at the end of the year. They ran the ball for really, really efficiently. The Panthers, meanwhile, gave up 180 rushing yards to the New Orleans Saints last week, with a team who, by the way, the Saints were projected to be one of the worst offensive lines in football this season. Gave up 180 rushing yards to the Saints. And now, by the way, the Carolina Panthers are without probably their best defensive player, defensive tackle Derek Brown, who's out for the season. This is going to get worse before it gets better for the Panthers. The line is down to 5.5 on Bet Parks. I'm going to take the Chargers to win this game, and I think win this game pretty convincingly.
I was bullish on the Chargers this year for the Jim Harbaugh reason. When you have a bad head coach and you bring in an excellent head coach, now he'll flame out because he's a maniac. But the difference between the idiot that they had there previously and Jim Harbaugh is significant.
Oh, Brandon Staley was terrible.
Head coaching in the NFL is like any other sport. And Harbaugh is a significant upgrade. But anyway, we got to get through these. Go ahead.
So I'm going to go to the other game with a team that just looks like they were terrible last week. I'm going to pick against the Cleveland Browns again this week. They go to Jacksonville. It is a weird line. It's a -3 for Jacksonville, who blew a lead last week. Trevor Lawrence needs to be more efficient with his wide receivers. Evan Ingram, 1 catch. Christian Kirk, 1 catch. Brian Thomas looked really good in his debut. But I think Trevor Lawrence needs to spread the football around a little bit more. I don't think that the Jags slip up again this week. I know it's a little bit of a fishy line at home, but I think Deshaun Watson right now is just playing some really, really bad football. I'm going to take Jacksonville -3 in this one.
Okay.
Then the last one I think could be a really good game. It's a rematch of last year's NFC divisional round. We go to Detroit, where the Lions are hosting the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Bucs throttled Washington in week 1. They won by 27. The Lions looked really good in a competitive game against the Rams on Sunday Night Football last week. This is a really, really large line, which is telling me that Vegas thinks the Lions are going to blow the doors off of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'm not so sure about that.
I agree.
I'm taking the Bucs on the road with the points. It's up to 7.5 now. I don't think Tampa Bay wins this game, but I think it's a much closer game than Vegas is saying. I'm going to take the Bucs with the points, 7.5.
I thought about this one, and I was your exact thought process, which was the Bucs are a good team. Like we can stop pretending, the South stinks. No, Baker Mayfield, he's not a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. But with good pieces around him, and he has great weapons, he has good offensive line, he has a good defense. I like the pick. I stayed away from it because it is a Lions line. So again, week 2, you're like, all right, like maybe the Bucs aren't as good. The Bucs are a good team. I agree with you.
So that's what I've got. I've got Chargers -5.5, Bucs +7.5, the Jags -3.